evening tonight, and welcome to tonight's special call. Folks, this is Peter in the spirit of things, and we'll be going in a different direction. I've come to the conclusion that my brothers and sisters need just a little bit more help to get some direction of flow mentally as well as spiritually, and so I'm going to give that direction of flow. So, folks, I've been getting I get lots of emails, and most of them are asking the same questions. So I've considered, after getting repeated hundreds of emails all across the land, I said, you know what? I got to go back to basics. I got to give a fundamental overview where everybody can really follow the bouncing ball. This is to get the collective mind on the same collective page, because this is what will happen in a positive when everybody gets on the same page. So the whole point is I'm going to move this all in a total new direction of flow so everybody can literally follow the bouncing ball. When I created my first site, I actually gave direction of flow, had 5 simple steps that people could do to follow, basically because they didn't have any direction of flow on how to basically traverse how they've been getting whacked their entire lives and how the system was collectively set up to pretty much rape the estates of every man, woman, and child, because it all started at birth and everybody gave it over. Your mother gave it over and she didn't know. They separated her from the father. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go one step deeper, and I've created a collective portal for everybody to get the memos. And I'm going to come back to the memos, because if you can't see it, feel it, touch it, you have no fundamental understanding. So I'm going to be able to pretty much draw a bead and give collective attachments for all this information that you'll be able to access easily, quickly, and effectively. So there's no excuses. So when I come back on this call, this coming up Saturday, to go over the curriculum, it's going to be an 8-week curriculum, folks, because I can't teach it in one night because nobody will get it. So it's going to have to be in digestible chunks, like I say, how I teach. This is how I taught the Marines, and this is how I'm going to teach my brothers and sisters. So as to defer all these emails that I get all the time, I said, you know what, apparently I'm not doing something right. I'm not doing it correctly. So I'm going to bring the collective mindset, because, folks, this is where it starts. If we don't get on the same page, we're all marching to the beat of a different drummer, and we're not in lockstep, we're out of step. And in the military, that's why I'm going to call this like a mini boot camp, this 8 weeks that I'm going to be covering. And it's going to be the most educational, informative overview you're going to get on how this thing started, how we got to where we're at now, and what you can do to create a solution. And I'm going to help you create the solution if you want it. If you don't, if you want to let me do all the heavy lifting, but you don't want to get into the privatist.me free portals to get your education, because you'll be able to attach to every week's attachments, PDF documents of what I'll be covering to give direction of flow to the conversation. So instead of me talking for 2 hours and bringing forth information where you can't see it, feel it, touch it, I'm going to let you see it, feel it, touch it on the information, because I'm going to, matter of fact, I've attached the PDFs so that everybody can access them between now and Saturday, but we don't have to wait till Saturday. Otherwise, it becomes a bum rush at the door. So what I'm going to do, this is my New Year's gift to everybody, so that I can get everybody on the collective page. You're going to have to sign up on the site for free so that you can get my emails. As a matter of fact, if you're signed up on the collective as a collective part of the site in the free portals, which has incredible information, folks, really, really simple to follow. I've got all the medical stuff on there, all my beautiful information that I've already put together with MP3s and attachments. I got an incredible cancer page where, you got downloadable PDFs that you can access for free. Yeah, I know everybody likes everything for free, so I'm going to give it for free. But not everything in life is free. So it's going to take a collective mindset to come together, to get on the page, because until you get your education, nothing's free, folks. If you don't learn what I'm fixing to share over the next 8 weeks with the attachments, you're going to continue to pay in a different way. Maybe not pay Peter, but you're going to pay Paul, because they're going to rob you until your estate is pretty much dripped dry, until you understand what capacity that you're supposed to be operating in. So I'm going to create a collective, constructive flow of information so everybody can get this memo. I mean, folks, it's really simple. I mean, so if there's 10,000 people listening tonight, there should be 10,000 people signing up on the privatist.me portal. But just in case you don't know where that is, I'm putting out the cattle call, folks. I don't want your stinking money. What I want is your education. That you need to get this education, because if we don't collectively get on the same page, you're going to be operating the blind and going to listen to conspiracy theory garbage and other stuff to tickle your eardrums, to keep your mind busy, keep your souls divided, so that you can literally effectively be neutralized, and that's the objective of what they do. So I says, okay, I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to create an 8-week sort of mini boot camp for the collective mindset to all really get on the same page, because we're going to understand trust. There's people out there passing information about saying it doesn't have nothing to do with the beneficiary, and now let me tell you something, folks. They're dead wrong, and I could prove it on multiple levels, so I'm going to show it and prove it to all those that come over to this privatist.me site and sign up for free so they can get their collective minds right. Because, folks, if you're not the beneficiary, guess what you are? You're the damn trustee, and they're going to rape the estate because as a trustee, you have no beneficial interest, i.e., look at the word beneficial, and you've abandoned ship. You've give over. You registered with them because you don't know what your status is. They're going to leave you behind, and they're going to basically leave nothing but a shell, an empty vessel, until there's nothing else left. This is probably the last that I'll go down this road. I'm going to create this 8-week informational, and by the way, each week, the upside is if you miss a week, you'll be able to attach, if you're signed up on privatist.me, you'll be able to attach into the curriculum page that we have now set up from Brother Mike so that you can get the next week's attachment, and also go back if you missed the last call for the week, and you can follow along to follow the bouncing ball to cover what we covered on that call if you missed it, and it'll have the attaching attachments. So this way you're not flying while blind, and you're getting full informational overview with attachments. So I guess I'm going to break it down to the simplistic so everybody can get it. Anyways, folks, that's the only way I know how to teach, is showing. It's like show and tell. So I guess that's what it has to come down to, because they've done an effective job on neutralizing us. So as I'm speaking, if you're all on your computers, this is a beautiful thing, because I guess most people have to come through the front door on their computer. So if you go to the Freedom Reigns homepage, folks, it's really simple, and I'll wait. And I want to talk for a minute, so I'll give everybody a minute to get over to the Freedom Reigns homepage. Folks, let me share something with you. You don't want to be rushing from the door for Saturday's call to sign up to get into the privatist.me site. So I'm going to share with you how to get there right this very minute. So everybody that will have the benefit who signs up now on this call, so that they don't have to be scrambling next Saturday because they didn't get the memo, because you will be getting the memo. The attachments are already fixing to be placed, or they're already placed in the site. So we're going to go ahead and click on together. Folks, if you look at the Freedom Reigns homepage, it's got home, about us, our team, Regal System, guest shows, local community support, information. Well, folks, it's the third icon down. So we're going to do follow the bouncing ball on how you can get into the site. This is a beautiful thing. It's simple. And the upside is, folks, once you're in the site, you'll get the collective memos on when the attachments are in for the following week, and you'll be able to access all the previous shows with the attachments. So this way you're not driving while blind. That's what I use as an analogy, because, folks, if you can't see it, feel it, touch it, you are driving while blind. Your mind's not going to grab around the concepts or the information. So since I had to teach my Marine brothers for 8 years on how to set bones, fractures, there was no better way than actually teaching with hands-on experience. We didn't break bones in order for them to set them, but we showed exactly proper application, because if Doc takes a bullet and he gets knocked out of the box, they better know how to pretty much help their own brothers, and they better have been paying attention in my class. Well, folks, this is sort of the same analogy. If you're not paying attention in class, if you didn't come in, if you didn't sign in and pick up your books, i.e. the PDF documents, by signing into class, then guess what? You're not going to get the memo. So when you come on the show Saturday, if you come on the show Saturday, because some of you may not be interested in getting your learn on, then you know what, this is not the place for you anyways. You're not ready yet. You need, I guess some need a lot more pain to really get the memo, and you know what, they're going to allow you to have all the pain you want if we can't collectively come together. I'm sharing enough love, folks, that I'm going to actually put this in a structured situation that I don't think anybody's done in USA Inc. or Canada or any other country, in a structured format, so you can follow beginning to end how this thing started and how you got whacked and how you can create a solution to get out. So this is the collective mindset coming together, and this is the only site I know that's talking about anything of substance lately these days. Most of the other stuff I'm hearing is just rhetoric and more busy stuff that's not giving anybody any capacity to, have a creative solution to fix what ails them. So now that we're on the Freedom Reigns page, everybody should have had time to get over on the Freedom page, the home page, and it's got it's on blog. It starts off. Let me go backwards. If you were on the collective site, it's not going backwards for me. Let me go backwards, folks. Okay. Yep. If we're on air, and at the Freedom Reigns front room, if you came in through the front door and clicked on www.freedomreigns.us. Once you click on that icon, it brings you to the front page. Because, folks, I want everybody to be able to get access to this information, because without it, you're not going to get the fundamentals. And what we're covering on this first call is the birth certificate bond, and I'm going to show you an actual birth certificate bond. It's mine, and it's got all the beautiful red digits on it. And for those out there who say it's got nothing to do with this, well, I'll prove that irrevocably wrong as well. So once you open up into you're on the Freedom Reigns page, I want everybody to click on our team and go to Peter. Folks, it's really that simple, and I'm clicking on it myself. I'm walking through. I'm actually going to give direction of flow, because most of the people spell our website wrong, or they just choose to not plug it in. I get tens of thousands of listeners, and nobody's following the bouncing ball. So right now, because this call will be moving forward on Saturday, if you didn't get in the front door right now, you're in the back of the bus, and you're not going to get the memo. So instead of waiting till the last minute, next Saturday or later, well, I'll think about it, whatever, we're going to click on it right now. So, folks, just go to the icon and click privatist.me, and it's going to bring you right up into the portal. And that's the home page. Folks, all you got to do is put in a username and a password, and you can log in. So that's a really simple thing, and that's what I'm looking to have everybody do. So I'll give you a couple minutes. Everybody can go ahead and log in. I'm going to log in. I'm already logged in. I'm going to go over to some of the pages. Yeah, folks, when you log in, there's a plethora of excellent information, especially on the medical side as well. But we're not just about the medical. We're about solutions. So I said I need to put together an 8-week boot camp, so to speak, for lack of a better term, to give everybody a collective flow to literally get their attachments each and every before each show follows the next week. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's going to make it a lot easier for everybody to follow when I do these talks over the next 8 weeks. You're not scrambling to find out what the heck I'm talking about. And we will post, for those that who sign in, you'll get an email when and where to get the collective documents for the next following week, and you'll be able to access everything you need to. I'm looking through my sites on Home, Body, and Mind, and we have, if you go under Mind, once you sign in, it's got a curriculum page, folks, and I'm clicking on it, and matter of fact, Brother Michael set it up, but he didn't put my PDFs in the right spot. He must have got binded up. I'm going to go to education. I'm going to go to law. Anyways, folks, you need to sign up anyways. Brother Michael will have these PDFs posted, and we'll send out an email when you can attach to these PDFs, because it's going to be my birth certificate bond, so I can talk about how this all ties in and how they collectively turn the whole thing around as far as getting the beneficial on your interest on your estate. So I'm looking through, and okay, so folks, that's where the site is. If everybody's clicked on, you'll go ahead and be able to load in And those that don't, you know what? Don't send me an email and ask me how, because I already showed you how. I know this may sound mean-spirited, but this is the whole point, folks. This is the point I'm trying to make. I'm leading everybody to the water, and nobody wants to drink. So if the collective mindset doesn't come together very soon, Peter may go bye-bye and let you all figure it out for yourselves. Because you know what? I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting, but I ain't getting nobody to help. So if it comes down to that, I have no problems with going away. I can move on. I've got other fish to fry. I've got incredible stuff that I can do. I'm self-sufficient, and you know what? I'm doing this. This is giving my breath, my life, for my brothers and sisters, so that they can get off the so-called slave plantation. But if you're really not interested in getting off the slave plantation, then this is probably not the right call, and this is probably not the right place, and privatist.me wouldn't be for you. So I'm sharing the love, and it may not sound like it, but you know what? I'm giving direction to flow, and nobody's following. So either I'm incompetent. Well, I know I'm not. I'm just figuring maybe my brothers and sisters aren't ready yet. Maybe they need to suffer a little bit more pain. But those that know me, hey, they know what I'm talking about, and they're getting the memo. So I have no problems with going silent. I really don't, folks, because I got enough to keep me busy over on the other side of the fence, because I'm fixing to open up another door for those that are actual members on privatist.me and those that are. Because let me share something with you, folks. If you don't know how to, we talk about settling the accounts. Well, folks, I played both sides of the fence, and I'm going to share with you a little bit of my history. I was in the cable business. I was a contractor for 10 years, effectively doing contracts, training folks, educating them on how to climb poles, how to tie in systems, how to build backbones on trunk systems for cable systems, electro feeds on line extenders, amplifiers. So I got a little knowledge on the electrical side of the house, folks. So I educated myself. I got really good at that for about 10 years after I got out of the military. And then that industry went belly up. Well, I had excellent credit. So we're going to talk a little bit about credit, folks. I'm going to share something with you. As I was basically traversing through contract after contract. Well, in 2001, the inevitable happened. They went to digital compression, and they weren't doing system rebuilds anymore. So, folks, it would be like being a home builder and having your industry pulled out from underneath you and said, hey, we're not building any houses anymore, and then you built these tracks and stuff like that, and you're left holding the bag because nothing's moving. Sort of like what happened to the system in 2007 when the collapse started kicking in a different way. Well, in 2001, after 9/11, like I say, they went into digital compression on these systems, and I couldn't. I was holding on for dear life for about a year when I should have just fished and cut bait and just sold my bucket truck and all that stuff and got out of the business and go on and find something else I could have done with the rest of my life. But I tried holding on, like most of us do, because I really didn't have anything else locked and loaded, any other industry. So I said, well, I'm just going to, maybe it's just a dry spot. So I went through about a year hanging on. And as I was hanging on, folks, don't worry, I'm going to get to a point. The point is this. I had excellent credit, and I had about an $80,000 line of credit. Well, you know, with multiple cards and stuff like that, keeping myself, I was paying thousands, you know, for my contract insurance, my bucket truck, and all this other stuff. Well, yeah, that all costs money. Then being on the road, doing contracts on the road, that all costs money. Well, folks, I inevitably, I hung on as long as I could, and I went $80,000 in the hole. Well, folks, I know there's probably some of you probably gone a lot farther in the hole than that. I'm going to come to a point, so I'm going to give you some understanding about what I'm speaking of. Folks, when you go $80,000 in the hole, that's ugly. That's really ugly. So, in essence, that's when everything started, robbing Peter to pay Paul, literally, and trying to hang on with all that credit card debt. And it just got heavier and heavier. The contracts dried up. Nothing else was going down. And in essence, I went belly up, for lack of a better term. So that's the point I'm trying to make, folks. I know what it's like to be $80,000 in the hole. Now, where it gets ugly, it's when you got your credit card companies coming after you for their money because they want theirs. Well, that's when I started really digging in extra hard into the system, about learning about the banking system, learning about negotiable instruments laws, learning about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all these things. Because, see, they were beating my brakes off. They were sending me crap through the mail all the time, trying to make phone calls, and they were calling my mom, calling my brothers, calling my sisters. Because but folks, this is the beauty. Yeah, you're gonna like this story. This is a beautiful story because I'm gonna give you clarity. I'm gonna show you that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm gonna prove it to you. And that's why I do what I do. I'm coming back to my roots, where, folks, I'm playing. I know both sides of the fence, the private and the public. So this is where I'm going. Anyways, folks, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna leave y'all hanging high and dry. And if you haven't gone and signed up on privatist.me yet, then you need to click on the icon and do what I already asked. So if anybody who's coming into the call hasn't got on the site, there you got to go get on there. And yeah, you can just click on the Freedom Reigns. It'll click on our team, and just go to Peter and just go sign up. Click on the icon and sign up under privatist.me and get on, because you're not going to want to miss what I'm fixing to talk about, what I'm fixing to put down, folks. Because I'm going to take you on an educational tour on how to smash these suckers in the mouth. But until then, folks, I'm going to take a break, and I've got nobody else to carry the ball with me tonight, and that's fine. But you're going to stay tuned for the next half hour, because I'm going to give you some overviews and information that's going to give you a lot more clarity that there is light at the end of the tunnel if you know how to operate, if you get your mind right. So I'm creating that as a new curriculum as well on how to beat the brakes off the third-party debt collectors and have fun doing it, folks. I had a blast. Once I knew what I knew, then I knew how to play ball. See, when you operate from a position of power, i.e. knowledge is power, and I'm going to share with you that right after this break. Anyways, welcome back, folks, and now we're going to get to the other side of the coin. Like I covered on the last few minutes before I went to break, how I was in the cable industry as a contractor, tying in systems, rebuilding backbones of systems, new builds, MDUs. Anyways, it's pretty fun stuff, folks. I got collectively really good on building systems. Yeah, but it doesn't matter how good you are at something when your industry goes belly up. So the upside is, I guess there's an upside and a downside. I didn't have to climb poles anymore, but yeah, I went to my nice 6-digit stream in the industry to pretty much almost like zero overnight, folks. And if any of you have worked for yourself, nothing worse than having to go punch somebody else's sorry-ass time clock, because I got paid what I was worth doing that industry. I got paid real well. But you know what? I guess there was, there's always a pink cloud or a white line, nice pink lining to any cloud. I was supposed to go down that road. See, because I have this mindset that allows me to dig in. See, because I'm a solutions guy, and I had a problem. I had a huge problem. I was $80,000 in the hole, and I had the clowns at the circus beating my brakes off on multiple levels until I started opening my eyes about this banking system and how the whole scam worked. And I said, hell. I said, okay, as I started digging in more, it was like, folks, it was sort of when you're in crisis mode, you operate in a crisis capacity. So that's called operating from a position of weakness, and that's pretty much the masses as a whole right now. So, folks, you know what? I'm going to give you some clarity that nobody else gave me, and I'm going to share with you some stuff that nobody else shared with me. So I'm going to show you sort of a shortcut to Grandma's house instead of you having to go through all the pain and suffering, because I know there's lots of you out there who's got third-party debt collectors beating your brakes off. You know what? It's so damn simple on putting this information together. When I uncovered it and started researching the Negotiable Instruments Act, the Uniform Commercial Code, and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, it was like I was like a fish. I was like a duck in water. It was natural for me, and I know it's not natural for everybody. But I had to move forward and start digging in, because this is called how do you preserve your castle? Well, folks, they created this game in with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. If you know how to use it, you can whip their ass all day long. If you don't even know about it, they're going to whoop yours all day long. Because, see, folks, you give over consent when you fail to respond to their presumptions and their presentments. So if you fail to do that, well, that's why they keep coming at you, and they make phone calls. Folks, let me tell you something. I got really good. I love the phone calls because, once I knew what was really going on, I started asking all the right questions on the phone, and that person on the other side of the phone, I let them know that I'm taping the call. I let them know that anything they can and say will be used against them in the court of law because they're third-party scumbag bottom feeders. Folks, that's all they are. That's why they say they'll settle with you for 10 cents on the dollar. Folks, let me share with you how this little thing works so you'll get a little understanding. I'm going to come back to my $80,000 in debt in a minute. Folks, it's really simple. Okay, the banking system's created through hypothecation. We already know that. I've covered that on multiple calls. That's why I'm going to do a new curriculum for 8 weeks so I can give a lot more clarity. So, folks, you know, when you have knowledge, you don't operate in fear. You operate in strength because it's just a game. That's all it is. It's a money game. But you better know how to play it, and that's what I'm going to teach. And that's why in the very, very near future, I'm going to be putting a collective curriculum together for everybody who's at privatist.me. So, folks, if you don't sign up, you're never going to get the memo, and you're going to get whacked continuously until your butt falls off because you don't know how to operate. You don't know who you are, and you don't know how to take care of your business. Folks, they're looking for easy sucker. They're looking for low-lying fruit, and they realized I wasn't it after I got my game on. Anyways, I'm going to switch gears for a second and go back to my $80,000 in debt. Out of the pain of necessity, folks, causes growth. So when I lost everything and went down for the count, and that's when it seems like the pain becomes greatest because they're beating you from all sides. You're barely hanging on. You're hanging on by a thread, and you've got these collective scum-sucking bottom feeders coming through you at every friggin' capacity. So, you know what? I had to learn quick, folks, because I was in the deep end. So I did. I got my learn on. I started digging into the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, how to effectively use it. But first I had to understand why this was all a scam, why and how to utilize the tools that were put in front of me to pretty much negate the clowns at the circus. Because they don't want to mess with me, folks, because I have fun. You know what? I'm not cocky. I know I sound like I am, but you know what? When you know stuff and when you know how to play ball, I can make these suckers go away in 30 seconds flat. I did, but it took me digging in to find out. So out of the pain became necessity to get my mind right to actually dig in to the truth so that I could find out how to negate this pain because otherwise it was getting ugly. So when I started digging into the banking system and how they effectively, folks, this is how it works. And I've been talking about the rules of 4, rules of 8, and it says it right in their own dadgum documents. And you'll get that attachment if you sign up to the site. If you don't, you're not getting dick. No pun intended, folks. But you will get some commerce from them because they'll keep beating your brakes off because you're operating from a position of no knowledge and weakness. We can change that. I can change that. You can change that as a collective. So that's why I put together privatist.me because I want to have some fun. We can beat the brakes off the banks in a collective one fell swoop across the nation, UK, Australia, because pretty much the banking system, the scams, all the same. We have FDCPA. Canada has another one. So I'm going to tell my brothers in Canada and my sisters in Canada, you need to find the parallel to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act being used in your country. When you find that, go ahead and post it to me and send it to me in an email, and I'll go ahead and break it down for you how it fits and how it works, because that's what I do. I'm an analyzer. But you know what? I'm not going looking for it for my brothers in Canada. That's their job. I'm in USA Inc. So anybody in USA Inc., guess what? Hey, you got an upside. So, but let's move on forward. Folks, this is how it works. So in the rules of 4, it's really specific on what it talks about on what's required in a contract. But you see, folks, the problem is nobody reads anything, so they don't know anything. And if they would realize and read what I'm talking about, they would have full knowledge that unilateral contract, that one-sided piece of crap paper that you signed and filled out, well, guess what? It was a fraud. It was not valid. But since you never know to ask the right questions on how to put the third-party bottom feeder into his proper box, then they keep coming at you, and they're going to know just by your correspondence that you don't know nothing. Well, folks, that's not where Peter lives. Peter's already been down this road. So, folks, this is what I'm trying to share with you. After I learn what I learned, and I'm going to go into deeper because I want you to understand a little bit how this works. So you know I'm talking off the top of my head, but this is my information because I've already educated myself. So I don't need to read from a book. I don't have to read from a text. I understand how the system works, and I understand what it creates an uphill climb for the clowns on the other side. So once you know how to operate from a position of strength, hey folks, your stuff they'll never want to make it see the inside of a court. Matter of fact, out of all the $80,000 in debt I had, not one of the issues went to court. You know why, folks? Because I know how to put the Peckerwoods in the box. So because if you fail to respond, then you, by acquiescence, give over your rights, and that debt stands. So you have to respond, but that's all right. It's good to respond because at any given time, it can be years that they've been beating your brakes off on a debt, and they'll sell it out to another, then another, then another, hoping they can troll for some gold, and then they'll say, "Hey, come on in, the water's fine. We're the third-party debt collector tied to Citibank or whoever the originator was." Let me tell you how this really works, folks. So when you sign that first contract, the unilateral one-sided contract, first of all, it requires there be two signatures on it. There never is. See, this is the questions I ask. See, that's what I like about this. Matter of fact, I dealt with an attorney about 3 years back on a student loan issue, and I sent her off a beautiful letter, a love letter, I call it. Basically, it was called a verification of the debt and a mandatory production of documents. And she failed to respond in kind, in the proper capacity. But, folks, they were knee-deep in my pocket. They were already... Anyways, they were already stealing from my pocket through my employer. So they were knee-deep in my pocket. So, folks, I'm trying to share with you that I'd run at the deep end of the pool. I don't need no damn floaties, and nor will you when you get done, if you're willing to get your game on and learn what I'm going to share with you. And you don't learn it in 5 minutes, but it's pretty damn simple. So you can effectively neutralize them. Anyways, and I did. They went into my back pocket through my employer. My employer honored a worthless piece of paper across state lines from a third-party debt collector in New Hampshire. And when I saw this, I said, "Oh, no, this is not going down." Well, it was. They said it was over a student loan debt. I don't care what it was over, folks. The fact is, they have to verify certain things before they can move forward. Well, they put the cart before the horse, and they came in through the side door, and they were sucking out of my pocket about $200 every week for the so-called student loan debt. I looked at the document. I saw where it came from the third-party scumbags, and I said, "Oh, okay. Now I know who these are." So I decided to put together a beautiful letter with attaching documents, and I sent it off to the attorney for this third-party debt collection company. I gave her 30 days to respond. She failed to respond. So, folks, once I knew that everything they did was a scam, I said, okay, we're going to go to the deeper end of the water. And I said, okay, folks, when you understand that a crime has been committed or a bad act has been committed, it's called misprision of a felony. And when you use that, I decided to go over this lady's head. And matter of fact, I did have a phone conversation with her before I decided to move forward to the state attorney general's office, because that's the one who's supposed to keep the clowns at the circus in line. Especially, folks, when you put forward for the verification of the debt and you're offering to pay, well, under 3-603, 604, 605. See, if you read the Uniform Commercial Code, folks, you know what I was talking about. But go ahead and look up 3-603 under the Uniform Commercial Code. Because when I made the offer to settle the account in full, and they failed to respond to provide the documents, that's called a conditional acceptance. It's like a conditional offer, and I knew what to put on the paper, folks. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll be glad to pay as soon as you provide this, and this, and your bond and the contract that I have with you, and the contract you have with. See, folks, what they do is they make innuendo that they actually are tied into the primary creditor, and they never are. They bought the account. They lied to you. But, folks, let's go back to whence it started. I want to give you a little continuity of flow. When you sign that credit card application, it's already hypothecated to its full amount, and they get paid. Well, let's say as you go through time and you're using that card and you're making payments and you're using the credit, well, you're just a hypothecation event. And, no need to spell private as Dom Terry. I had a Skype. They can go click on it. If they don't know how to come through the front door, then they don't get in. It's really that simple. Folks, I've already posted where it is. You got to go into the Peters portal. It's really simple. and then you'll get into click on the privatist.me once you see Freedom Reigns Radio. That's what I hate about reading Skypes while I'm talking on the phone. I get diverted. But if you go to the cover page and you're in Blog Talk, I'll come back to it in a second. There you go. Hear the music. Go into Our Team. Folks, click on Our Team, then click on Peter, and it pulls me up. It's real simple. So when it pulls me up, all you got to do is click on my home page right there with my beautiful mug on the HTTPS, privatist.me, and click on it, and it opens the door, and go do what you got to do to sign up. Because if you don't, folks, you're not going to get the memos. Y'all in pain, y'all dealing with third-party debt collectors, I'm going to take you on a new adventure over at privatist.me. So, yep, we won't be doing it on Blog Talk. We'll be doing it in my private portal because, see, folks, that's why it's private. It's between you and me. It's, because the nefarious ones, they don't like when you do this stuff in public, so we're not going to do it in public. We're going to do it in private. So if you don't get the memo and understand that you need to sign up at privatist.me, that's cool. Don't. You can stay where you're at, and you need a little bit more pain. I know I'm sounding not real friendly, but you know what, folks? I've been trying to share this stuff for the last 3-4 months, and nobody's getting the memo. So today we're going to get the memo, but let me share my story, and we're going to move forward. Every hypothecation contract, i.e. credit card application, only has one signature. They never have two. It says it's supposed to have two. All the terms and conditions, accordingly, under the rules of 4, rules of 8, in their, guess where that's filed, folks? Under the insurance code, because they underwrite an insurance contract on every stinking credit card agreement. So, folks, when you go into default, they get paid again. Not only do they get paid on the front end when you set up the account, they got paid on the back end when you defaulted. And then they get paid again when they sell out the account to some third-party scum-sucking bottom feeder who makes implication that somehow you never paid your debt. Folks, it was paid in full. It's just like the mortgage thing. Anyways, we won't even go into the mortgage thing. That's another animal I'm working on too. Anyways, that's a call for another show. But I just want to stay on third-party debt collectors. Folks, they're basically private organizations, private corporations, looking for a willing host, a dumbed-down host who doesn't understand how this stuff works and how to respond and how to defend their castle. Well, folks, you won't have to stay in dumbed-down land long because I'm going to start covering that on privatist.me. But if you're not on privatist.me, you'll never know. You'll be doing it the hard way because, folks, when I tell you I annihilated $80,000 in credit card debt once I knew what I was doing, I don't have no problems. They don't send me nothing no more. It's done, been neutralized. It doesn't exist. But I'm going to come back to this one issue from 3 years ago when they got into my back pocket. I said, this is ridiculous. I was sitting around the table with a bunch of pipe fitters. I was doing a pipe fitting job over here in Virginia, and there's a bunch of guys sitting around the table. Oh, yeah, and they're chuckling and saying, oh, yeah, student loan, you're screwed. You'll never get your money back. And I looked at them. I looked at them straight up. I said, you don't know Brother Peter. And so within 6 weeks' time, after me initiating what I needed to do, because I knew what to do, exactly what to do, I beat the brakes off them, and I got a check back for $1,600, the total amount they stole out of my paycheck, and they stopped pulling out for the so-called student loan. So for all you people who don't think it can be done, see, that's the naysayers, because you have no knowledge. Yeah, it can't be done. But for people like Brother Peter, you know what? I love the challenge. I love to play ball. So when the people look at me cross-eyed and tell me I can't do something, it really pisses me off. And then I move forward on a whole different level because I don't like being told I can't do something. See, I don't understand that I can't do something, and I guess it's good to have a hard head because when you're hanging around with the jarheads for 8 years, you know you can do stuff, and I don't take no for an answer. But I had to effectively educate myself and literally get the information for myself. So guess what, folks? Out of necessity, I had to educate myself. Well, guess what, folks? Out of necessity, a lot of you are going to have to educate yourself. But guess what? I've already beat the beeline. I'm circumventing all. You don't have to go through all these different roads, but you're going to have to get some education. Because if you don't understand how to operate, if you don't understand how to send back their presentment, if you don't know how to take these simple, it's just paper and ink, folks. It's really simple. And you could be the dead entity. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Excuse my French. But, folks, it doesn't matter if you're in dead man's land. because the way I'm operating with this, they have it's their rules. See, once you understand how the rules of the game works, then they can't move the goalpost. So the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act really has extremely strong validity. But let's go back to I'm going to go back to this third-party debt collector over in New Hampshire. Folks, you're going to like this. See, because Peter is the crazy son of a bee in the room. I really am. So I called this attorney after I sent her my 30-day notice because they hadn't moved and done anything. And you know what she said to me, folks? You're going to laugh. You can't make this crap up. She goes, it's just about commerce. I said, yeah, you know what commerce is? I said, look at the damn definitions, intercourse, and you're screwing me, lady, across state lines. And she didn't. Then I started asking her some pointed questions because she goes, are you an attorney? And I said, how dare you friggin' cuss me like that? I said, no, I'm better than an attorney. My damn hands aren't tied. This attorney who represented this third-party debt collection company knew she was in the deep end with Brother Peter. And I got this crew of 5 guys sitting around the table, folks, and hearing me banter with this lady and bringing it. And because I had this lady nervous, I said, I hope you got your bond in place, lady. I said, because we're going to have a talk on a different level. So, folks, after I had my phone conversation with this, folks, I'm not afraid of nobody. I ain't afraid of no ghost. I'll call an attorney. I'll beat the brakes off anybody. Because you know what? They're bottom feeders. They're third-party scumbags. But because you didn't know how to operate, they're going to beat your brakes off. And you say, oh, it says attorney. Well, first of all, folks, that's conflict of interest. There's not supposed to be any attorney debt collectors. If that's their primary source of income, that's a unlawful act within itself. But we won't go into that. Let's come back to ground. Let's come back to the simple. So I dealt with this lawyer, and I basically said, that's all right, no problem. I'll file misprision of felony charges, and I'll let the state attorney general handle it. And that's exactly what I did, folks. I got the documents. I'll probably post them in the future so everybody can see, so they know I'm not blowing smoke up their backs. I got a copy of the $1,600 check, see, because I know everybody's from the show-me state, and that's where I live. I'll show you. I'll show you proofs. So everybody who thinks that, he's just babbling, you can say what you want to say. I can prove what I'm saying. Anyways, and I will in the very near future, especially when I start this new curriculum on how to terminate third-party debt collectors. So, folks, long story short, I get within 2 weeks after I did some FaceTime with this third-party debt collecting attorney, I get a letter from the state attorney general's office that said basically this. They wasn't basically a mean letter. No, it was actually a letter that just stated, for the record, that we'd like to handle this at the lowest possible level possible, and if you're amenable to get a resolution, we'll move forward accordingly. So in other words, folks, they weren't going to charge the scumbag third-party debt collectors for their bad act, but they did the next best thing, and they got them to stop doing what they were doing, taking out of my paycheck, and they were forced to reimburse my company I was working for doing a pipe fitting job, and they sent back the $1,600 they had stole out of my pocket, and my company issued me a $1,600 check forthwith 2 weeks after I had sent my documents over to the state attorney general's office. Folks, let me tell you something. I don't know anybody who's got their money back on a student loan because, like I say, this system is so scummy. It's so underhanded. But see, when you're aware with what you really deal with, the nefarious scum-sucking botters, but you know the rules better than they do, that's when you get to beat the brakes off the clowns of the circus, and that's where you get to have fun. Because, folks, like I say, I've had third-party debt collectors call my house. They don't ever call after the first conversation. You know why? Because I put them in a box. They're looking for Peter Eugene Goslin, that fiction. He doesn't exist, and they know it. And I say, I don't know whom you're making a claim or trying to make a claim on, but what's your name? And say, by the way, this phone call is being taped, and let's get your name and your Social Security number and get your boss over here, too, because I want his name and Social Security number because, you know what? I think this is undue harassment, and we got no contract, and you got no consent to ever call here again. If you choose to, however, though, please submit all your correspondence, documentation, and verification, and that'll be fine. And pretty much after that, folks, they don't want to talk to me. And so, folks, we don't have to really be mean and rude, but, yeah you can put them in a box. But the minute you answer up to the name, this is so-and-so, they got you on the phone. So if you're not good on the phone, don't do it. If you don't understand procedure, don't do it. Otherwise, they're going to beat your brakes off. So, folks, it's really not complex. So this is what I'm trying to come down to. So I said to myself, not only do I need to create a curriculum for the insanity that's gone down with the birth certificate bond, and it really is all about the estate. It's really about being the living beneficiary. Some people have said it doesn't have anything to do with the living beneficiary. Folks, I got a friggin' book from the Virginia State Commissioner's Office, and that's all they talk about is the beneficiary. Well, they think they're it, you're it. And there's people who say you shouldn't take that position. Well, what position should you take? If you don't take the beneficiary position, guess what? You're in the dead man's position. You're the trustee, and they're going to rape the estate until your butt falls off, and I guarantee it. We've already had multiple successes operating in the private, doing the settling of the account by going to peace. Had a brother going to court, Brother Michael, and he's got his account settled. So, folks, we're proving things all the time. The problem is if people don't get their minds right, that's why they're getting whacked. So, folks, you know what? You have some really, really good stuff coming on the trust, and I'm going to explain how the trust works and how it's all about the estate, how it all ties in, how your mother gave over. I got my beautiful birth certificate bond. We're going to cover the birth certificate securitization scam. So I want to start from the beginning because I've done multiple calls over the last few months, but nothing with continuity of flow. So you know what? I said, you know what? That's what I'm missing, continuity of flow. I said, my brothers and sisters, they need to see this is like picture-word association time, and I want you to get the picture-words association because, folks, I'm not being rude, but this is how education works. You get it when you get it. When you can see the document, you can understand what I'm talking about. If you can't see the document, you're just saying, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, well, you're looking at a vapor. You're just using your mind to try and put thoughts together. Well, I want you to see paper. I want you to see attachments. I want you to see information. So you can get, like I say, don't believe what I say. It's all hearsay. If you can't verify it, well, hey, you're going to verify what a birth certificate bond looks like this coming up Saturday. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So it's got the beautiful red digits. It's got the nice borders on it. It's got Midwest Bank Note Company on it. So for those who say, it has nothing to do with, folks, that's the hypothecation event. That's the beginning. You're the new issue for the system, the copyrighted name to get the game started, and now you're the new chattel property on the slave plantation operating under the 14th Amendment, so they can hypothecate under the good faith and credit of that new baby. Folks, I'm just not smart enough to make this stuff up. I educate myself, I dig in deep, and that's the whole reason, and that's the whole purpose of putting privatist.me. And like I say, if you don't sign up tonight, folks, or between now and Saturday, and you do get on this call on Saturday, you're going to be in the deep end without a paddle because you're not going to be able to see, feel, and touch what I'm speaking of. So this is where I'm twisting this thing sideways, folks. For the next 8 weeks, I've got a curriculum, and I'm going to give you clarity. I'm going to give you attachments. I'm going to give you information. So you're never going to be able to go back to sleep again and say, that's all crazy. Folks, I'm going to give you sustaining documentation, and that's the whole point of the exercise. That's the whole point of me putting together this site as an educational portal. For those who are already on it, who are already members, they're getting great information. By the way, you can get the actual information on some of the past 6 medical calls I've done and listen to those informations, see the attaching documents. Yep, you'll have access to those as well as the cancer page with free PDF attachments. So you know what? None of you got to die from cancer either. You don't wait until the bear's on your doorstep before you decide to make a decision. See, because operating from a position of weakness is always a really bad idea because you know what? When you're under stress, you make bad decisions for yourself because you're operating from this bad being put in a corner overview, and you just can't function and think right when you're operating from a place of emergency. Just like all the people who send me emails, they got 3 days to court and they want me to wave a freaking magic wand. Well, folks, I don't have a magic wand. But I got the next best thing. So for those who are getting their break speed off in court and stuff like that, you know what? You're going to have to get your game on and come through the 8-week curriculum so you can get your real game on to get the learning curve, get the dust out of your head, and then you'll understand capacity, how to operate, status, all the stuff I'm fixing to talk about. I'm going to take you to a different place. But you know what? You're never going to get it if you don't sign up on privatist.me. So remember what I was telling you folks at the beginning of the year when I first started these calls? I said I'm going to make privatist.me the nucleus portal for the education of the masses, for the paradigm shift. Well, when I say something, I really mean it. See, I don't talk out both sides of my mouth like some people. I'm going to bring you the truth. And when I bring you attachments, you're going to have irrevocable proof. So you know what? That shuts everybody else down who talks stuff about me behind my back, creating crazy-making behavior. You know what? I don't argue with them. I don't reduce myself. I just let them figure it out for themselves. Because if they don't get it, they're going to get it in a different way. Anyways, folks, I'm sharing the love tonight. I'm feeling a little frisky. But you know what? If I didn't care enough, I wouldn't be on tonight. So there's absolutely no reason. I'm going to go back into the site. Folks, if you didn't click onto our team, then click on Peter, because you got 5 different names. You click on the Peter and click on the private is not me. It's right there. You don't have to think about it. You just click on the icon, get on your computer and click on the icon. It's on the home page on Freedom Reigns. Go down home, about us, go to our team. Go click on it, because I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss getting the memos of what's coming down in the curriculum for the next 8 weeks. Because I'm going to cover the deep end, but it's not real complex, folks. I'm going to break it down into digestible chunks so you get the memo. Anyways, folks, yeah, I was in the era. I was really not big on disco, though. I was a rock and roll drummer, so disco sucks. Anyways, folks, you know, I like sharing. I like bringing this information forward. And like I say, if people don't get off their collective backsides, they're going to get whacked on a whole new level, unparalleled to none others. Because, folks, it's just a game, but you got to learn how to play the game. And if you don't get in the game, then you get to stay in a neutral. You stand back and don't get your learn on, so to speak, because nobody's bringing this stuff the way I'm fixing to bring it. And I'm not blowing my own horn, but maybe I am. But you know what? I cut through the wheat and the chaff, and I'm going to give you it straight up if you can take it, if you can handle it. Sort of like Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. You know what? And I'm finding that in my paradigm when I tell people irrevocable proof, like my brother Greg's sister, who they sent to the boneyard. She didn't really want to grasp the concepts that the white coats were really killing her. Yeah, but when they gave her death sentence to go home and die, you know what? She got her friggin' mind right real quick. She had about 3 days to grasp the concepts of maybe Peter and Brother Greg might be knowing what they're talking about. Folks, we don't give medical advice. We just give direction and flow, see? But it starts with you wanting to go to the water trough and actually drink. I can't dunk your damn head in there to make you drink the water. Well, folks, I can bring you the buffet, and I can make you hungry, but I can't force you to eat. And I'm not gonna. You know what? Because if you're not ready, you're not ready. And a lot of people still aren't ready yet, and that's what I'm finding out. So, you know, on this talkie talk that we do on Blog Talk, I figure I'm dealing with some of the sharper minds in the world who are ready for the change. And, folks, you got to be the change you want to be, and it starts with you. The collective mindset has to come together, and if it doesn't, you know what? You're going to get left in the dust. I'm not going to get left in the dust, but I can tell you what. Those that don't want to get their minds right, they're going to find out what the pain is really like on a different level, because y'all keep filing crap into the court systems and doing this and doing that and thinking that you got some sort of, well, hey, they can't do that. They can do anything they want. You're one of their dadgum slaves. Folks, when I say you're one of their slaves, if you signed a contract with the body politic on the voter rolls, you're one of their stinking slaves. And guess what? If you've never read Slave Owner, Who Owns You, which is on my site, of course. You know, folks, I only post meat and potatoes. I don't post garbage. But see, if the collective mindset doesn't come together and they think that they actually have, a right to anything, no, you're a dead slave on the plantation. You signed over, gave over to the body politic. Yeah, I know they didn't tell you that this is what that adhesion contract causes you. And that's nefarious within itself. I understand that. The whole big system's fraud, folks. We know that. The fraud is massive on so many different levels. So I can talk about what the problem is all day long, but can I provide a solution? Well, folks, on this third-party debt collection crap, I can provide the solution all day long, and you can make them neutralize and make them go away and never see the inside of a court. Matter of fact, I'm working on a process on the other side that actually allows me to go at them and get paid because I know how to beat the brakes off of clowns at the circus because everything they brought forward was a falsity. So I'm going to be working on that process for myself, for my own goodwill, because I like screwing with clowns at the circus because this is where I live. Folks, you don't have to experience the pain any longer if you choose to get off your butt and move forward. So I'm going to give you have a collective decision to make as the masses. Otherwise, you know what? You're going to continue to inherit the the same old garbage. You know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same exact thing that yields the same stupid results. Well, folks, that's where I had to get my mind right when I was $80,000 in the hole. I said, this really sucks. These people are beating my brakes off. They're calling my house. They're calling my brothers. They're calling my sister. They're calling my mother. Folks, I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of some pain, you know, because it is miserable crap. But you know what? It's so damn simple that most people don't get it. Just like everything else I speak of, because I create, I'm a creative guy. I'm a solutions guy. And you know what? I'm going to bring solutions to your front door if you're willing to open the door, but it's going to take an action upon your part. Anyways, I like what I do, and if you like what I do, you know what? You're going to be the beneficiary. Yep, I'm going to use that word, beneficiary, of my goodwill up to a certain extent. Yep, but you're going to have to do some heavy lifting. You're going to have to come on board and get the shift. Get on board and move forward, because if you don't, the same old is going to keep happening. So it's going to take a shift in the mind. And matter of fact, I have a party that was talking to me earlier, and they got issue that they've been dealing with for years. And I said, it's not a problem. I said, don't worry, we'll fix it because I can. And they've been getting their brakes beat off by a third-party scumbag who can't verify anything, but they didn't know how to follow through, and it's not their fault. Folks, they don't teach this stuff in school. Yeah, that's why you got to go dig in. It's your life. It's not their job to tell you. It's not their job to explain how this scam works. But it is your job to uncover it once you are aware that it exists. And you have capacity to move forward, to get the memo, to move forward. So I'm going to do a bonus deal. I got somebody who's got a $23,000 debt, and I'm going to go ahead and nuclearize their debt, make it go away, so that they can be a testimonial to Brother Peter, because I know what the hell I'm talking about, because I'm not full of crap. Folks, I can prove everything I say. So you know what? Action speaks louder than words, so I'm going to take an action, and it's just paperwork. Hey, I know how to do paperwork, so that's a good thing. So when you have capacity, and folks, you know, I stepped away from this bow on the third-party debt collector thing because I'm living in a different place now because I'm on the private side and I'm operating in a different capacity. But I said, you know what? I'm seeing all this pain, and it's just getting worse. And I said, you know what? I'm the master of my own domain when it comes to third-party debt collectors and how to throw a nuclear airstrike across their desk and basically make them blow up and go bye-bye. And so, you know what? I'm going to bring my knowledge forward, what I've learned, what I know, what I can prove, and how to operate so that I can release some of this pain for my brothers and sisters. So I'm going to bring this forward, and yes, but it's going to take you a concerted effort to learn a little bit, but it's not complex, folks. It's only complex because you coming from a position of no knowledge. Like I say, when I got forced into a corner, I don't like being forced into a corner, and I had to deal with this pain. Believe me, it was really pathetic. It's almost like your self-worth goes into the crapper, and that's what they want you to think, folks. They created this scam, then they're nuking your bow with this false fiat system, and then they reduce you to, you know, and I know lots of my brothers and sisters have experienced the pain across the years where they're killing themselves and stuff like that. Folks, ain't no fiat money system worth killing yourself over. So if you don't like the pain, then guess what? You got to get your learn on and find out how to play the game. And it is a game, and it really is. So I'm going to teach everybody how to play the game if they come over to privates.me. If they don't, they can stand in the quick and suffer the slings and arrows and deal with this on their own terms until they can get their minds right, because I can't force nobody to get their mind right. Like I say, I can bring you like a horse to water, but I can't force you to drink it. I'm not going to try. So this is going to take a collective shift of the brain, and I'm telling you, this is where it starts, and this is why I'm talking about it. I'm going to talk about something of substance, and I'm going to give you proofs and information so that you can move forward on a whole different level. So I'm going to help a party out on this end. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go into my collective nuclear strike arsenal because I have excellent documents, and I really know how to put stuff together, and I know to ask the right questions, which they'll never answer, and that's a beautiful thing because I'm going to do this in a different capacity. As far as on the helping mode, we know how to use notaries and stuff like that, and folks, that's part of their system, but at the same time, this is the part of the system that I know how to operate in because I was in dead man's land, and there are effective tools to neutralize the scam in dead man's land. So, it's beautiful to know how to operate on both sides of the fence. So that's where I'm going to go. I effectively trained folks in this field of debt termination processes. I got a friend of mine down in the South. She's doing very, very well. And I'm saying to myself, I need to get back into the game. This is what I do best. I've trained. So, folks, I'm going to create a curriculum for debt termination processes. Is it going to be free? Not only no, but hell no. You know what? You're going to pay for my time. And you know what? For those of you who say, oh, this guy's an opportunist. Yeah, you know what? Then you go dig in, do the heavy lifting, and do everything I did. Get your mind right. Go look at the Fair Debt. I'll point you in the right direction, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and you can do all the heavy lifting and get the same knowledge that I did. And you can do it under pressure. And I know most of you, you know what? You don't have a couple of years to learn this stuff. Most of you are pinned down. You got court cases. Well, here, I'm gonna read you something really interesting, and y'all get a little chuckle out of this. I just got this across my desk, and I know it's true, and I know it's valid. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to go pull this up. This is very interesting, and I like it. I like what it says, and it's dead nuts right. And I'm going to go there. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, folks. Sometimes I got to go searching for stuff. Anyways, I didn't know I was going to talk about this. Anyways, this is a guy who was in court, and it's a beautiful thing. Anyways, let me see. I got to go find it. Let's see if I can find it on another page. Anyways, the reason I want to cover this is I'm trying to give you a point, folks. I'm trying to make a point. Anyways, let me find what I'm looking for. All right. Yeah, this document, folks. I've got a document here. I'm just going to read you one paragraph just to give you some content. This is the type of stuff I asked for, and basically I like to put them in a box. They never respond to it. That's the beauty, folks. That's their Achilles heel. They never respond to it. The same way you don't respond to it, it's called acquiescence. When you give over, when you fail to respond, when they send you presentments in a proper capacity, i.e. verify the debt verification letter, whatever you want to call it, they think that you are a party to the contract because you failed to respond. Well, that failure to respond, 30, 60, 90 days, gives them basically but however, folks, here's the good news, and this is what I learned over time, is it doesn't matter how long this debt's been going on, you have the right at any given time, sort of like settling the debt before going to court, you have the right to settle the debt and ask for verification of what they say that you owe and get a proof anytime before it goes to finality. And matter of fact, so I ask stuff like this, folks, like I tell them to produce all records, tangible evidence relating to the questions herein, which I got like 34 huge questions. See, folks, the questions I ask, if they give the answer, they're screwed. That's why they never answer them. But that's cool because we send off a default after they fail to respond to the first letter, and they're essentially neutralizing them. They don't have a leg to stand on. It'll probably never see the inside of a court. Out of the $80,000 they try whacking from me, folks, I effectively use this technology on all of them under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and effectively neutralize them on every level. Matter of fact, I remember I had a Sears card, and I had such a beautiful letter. It was from a debt collector attorney, folks, and I had to get a chuckle. They said I owe them about $3,500 and all this. And I said, all right, brother, I'll be glad to settle this. It's sort of like a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. I was using that. But I basically, in straight up terms, basically said I'll lien this guy until his butt falls off. I never heard a word. I never heard a word on the debt thereafter on that issue in any way, shape, or form. They didn't farm it out to another debt collector. Anyway, so folks, you know what? When you operate from a position of strength and you know what to say and you got to be a wordsmith, but you got to know what to ask. Anyways, just like on this last little paragraph, it says failure to respond with all requested documentation regarding this alleged debt. See, folks, I know how to use the right words. You never put debt. It's alleged. They're alleging. It's not yours. If you say debt straight up and don't use the word alleged, then you're owning it. So, folks, these are the little nuances that Peter pays attention to that nobody else does, so they don't know how to operate. Well, I'm going to teach you how to be operators like a SEAL team, folks. in order to be an operator in a SEAL team operation, you got to go to BUDS class and all this other stuff to get your mind right so you can be an operator. Well, I'm going to teach everybody how to be an operator to nuke the front desk of all these third-party debt collecting scumbags, and that's what I call them because, folks, that's exactly what they are. They're bottom feeders. They bought the debt for 6 cents on the dollar. The originator of the debt, so to speak, got paid multiple times, collected on the insurance contract, but because you didn't know what was going on, you still think through the illusion, and that's what it is, an illusion. You're living in the sea of illusion, and they took you down this path, and you think in the back, oh, well, I never paid it. Yeah, folks, it got paid because you hypothecated it on the front end. Anyways, I won't get into all that. That's a song for another day. Anyways, failure to respond with all requested documentation regarding the alleged debt within the next 30 days will put you in default that no such valid claim exists. See, folks, how many times have I talked to you and said they never have a valid claim? And that's the proof in the pudding. They never have a valid claim. They never have a true bill. They never have crap. That's good. That's fantastic. That's your way out. Anyways, any further attempts to try and collect on this alleged debt without full verification of this alleged debt will allow me to pursue my legal remedy under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Uniform Commercial Code. Folks, the reason I bring up the UCC because it applies across worldwide. Canada, yep, you folks are under the UCC. Anyways, take note that the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is codified at 15 U.S.C. 1692, stipulates that a debt collector must, if requested, provide a verification of the alleged debt, i.e. validate the alleged debt. Also, per the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the debt collector is mandated to cease all collection activity until verification is provided. If you are not the originator of this debt, please forward this document to the originator of this alleged debt. Folks, they never forward it to the originator because they know they bought the damn account. They just give you the illusion that they're still somehow collecting on behalf of the originator. It's a crock. It's a scam. And I'm going to prove that to you when I put together my collective curriculum for third-party debt collection practices and processes and stuff. Folks, you're going to have full body armor. Ain't nothing getting through because it's all bullcrap what they're doing. Once you understand that, then you operate from a position of strength. But anyways, here's a post I put up earlier and that I was researching. This is a guy who was in court, and they had a suit filed against him. Folks, you're going to like this. This is funny. I get a yuck out of this. He was asking the attorney for the plaintiff. That's the one who brought the charge. Yep. It's not about the bonds at this moment, folks. He asked them, hey, folks, this is his wording. Simple question. He said to the attorney, would you be willing to accept a non-redeemable note drawn on a private bank as full payment of the alleged debt the bank claims I owe? And the attorney responded, point blank, no, without even thinking. Folks, he's dead. He just stepped on his own petard because the man pulled out a Federal Reserve note, which is $1, and he says this is one of those unredeemable notes drawn on a private bank, the Federal Reserve, of which I was speaking. The attorney nearly fainted, too late to amend his refusal. It was already in the court record. The judge dismissed the plaintiff's suit because under the Uniform Commercial Code, now adopted in every state, if an offer is made to pay a debt in legal tender and that offer of the payment is refused, the alleged debt is instantly discharged. Poor little lawyer, he will never be the same. He will forever be terrified of the private individual, gentleman who came across his desk. And folks, I covered this basically, that falls under 3-603. Go look it up, okay? Do your homework. Go look it up, 3-603. It's under the Uniform Commercial Code under the instruments. When you tender forward, which we do on all our documents, the administrative processes, what I'm going to share with you, because I'm telling you, I'm going to pay this sucker in full once you produce this, and this. But they always fail to. But see, folks, what happens is, you can send this one out, but if you don't close the dadgum door with a default, and using that's why we create private processes with private notaries, and I have one that anybody could use. Anyways, so we send a second document 30 days thereafter when they fail to respond, and that ties the whole thing in a nice little bow. If they decide they want to drag this sorry crap into court, they have a real uphill climb, and they'll never get past it, because then you can show the judge, say, hey, I was asking, he wasn't telling. Under 3-603, it specifically says if I was offering up to pay this, he refused. Well, just like when the guy was asking if he'd accept non-redeemable notes, and that attorney said no, he basically was in dishonor because you can't do an impossibility, folks, because you can't. What else are you supposed to so-called pay with? Well, you can't pay with nothing. Anyways, I just thought that would be an interesting tidbit for everybody to get their minds right, and that's a beautiful thing. So, folks, this is where I live. This is, I spent years digging into this stuff because I was so pissed off about what they were wreaking havoc on my world. I didn't like them wreaking havoc on my world. So I said, I got to get myself smart. And I'm not smart, folks. I just know where to look. I just know how to turn over the stone. And I'm going to teach you how to do the same thing. Yep. Are you going to be required to do a little learning, a little educating? That's great. But knowledge is power, and you'll never be a victim to the scam ever again. It's beautiful. When you operate from a position of power and you know what you're talking about, you don't have to argue with anybody. You just friggin' nuke their friggin' front desk with a friggin' proper documentation, and they're going to literally have no wiggle room to move forward on any other level. Anyways, folks, I mean, this is what, for those of you who are listening, who are already members of Privatist.me, I got people sending me beautiful emails, and they're really happy with what we're doing over here in the Privatist.me. And folks, that's the whole point. This is about education, and I'm covering deep-level topics that are not hard to comprehend. They're actually very easy. So this is, like I say, if everybody comes in Saturday and wants to hurry up and get on this now, you know what, that's not a good idea. Everybody needs to get on Privatist.me. But in the members area, we got a members area and the non-members area. But we got media, audio, video, incredible information. On the audio, I've got all the posts over there up to date. Magnesium chloride, rich hemp powder, sodium bicarbonate. Got a little bit of information on the 4 and 8 corner rules. Healing salts. It's funny, this past week, I guess they were talking about healing salts on the other side of the fence. That's good. You want everybody to know about healing salts. So I guess plagiarism is sort of I guess that's a compliment. Anyways, folks, I want everybody to understand what the hell they got available. We cover vaccinations on the videos page. Folks, it's a beautiful site, well put together. It's got the home page, mind, body, and spirit. And, folks, that's where we live. So this, in order to affect this paradigm shift, we want everybody to be able to, that's what I say, if anybody hasn't watched Changes on the Horizon that's been listening to this call, then you know what? That's your starting point, folks. You got to go listen to it because that's going to give you a history lesson that you ain't going to get from the public fool system. So this is going to help you affect and get your mind right. Anyways, let's take a look at, I'm going to go into, let's see, we got curriculum, and Michael's going to be posting those attaching documents within the next 24 hours, so everybody gets those attachments, what I'm going to be talking about Saturday. It's a beautiful thing. But you go to the body, you got cancer, we got a cancer page, healing, hemp powder, salt, sodium bicarbonate, all the information, folks. In the members area, we have solutions, court solutions, templates, how to fill out a W-4, all the private audios that are now, there's some that are now private for members only. But we got the templates. We got what makes a valid claim. Folks, these are informations that are simple, easy to follow. Brother Michael is a master on putting together these pages, and they're really, really beautiful, and it's easy to follow. I'm going to talk about, matter of fact, this Thursday we're going to be busy talking about codicils and stamps. See, folks, dead entities, they don't use stamp technology or codicils or seals or crests. That's another thing I found out. So, anyways, we have dynamic things, dynamic changes, and this is like I say, this is not a normal site. You're not going to find this pretty much anywhere else, I don't think. But this is how we work. So, folks, I'm looking for everybody to get on the curriculum page starting this coming up Saturday. So, folks, once you log in and enter in, you'll be getting all the attaching emails on what we're bringing forward each and every week. All the attaching shows will be in one spot on the site. So you can, if you missed one show, you don't got to go looking for it. It'll be posted on the site. Yeah, folks, that's what they expect. They want us to be silent. They don't want us stepping forward. No, we don't have to be adversarial. We don't have to war with anybody. We just have to get our collective minds right. So this is a beautiful thing that we're moving forward on a whole different paradigm, folks. It is time for the shift. And I post stuff in my site as well on informations that the masses don't get on a different level, as well as what's going on in the banking system with the Bank of International Settlements and information. I get little birdies talking to Brother Peter all the time, and it's not BS. So I sort of feel like I got the pulse on things. I'm sort of ground. A lot of stuff comes through my door. A lot of people come through my door. So you'll be on the beneficial, for lack of a better term, I guess, the high road instead of the low road. Because hey, when I know it, I bring it forward. I don't hide nothing. So it's like I say, if we're looking to come together collectively and go for this paradigm shift, that's where we all need to come together. So I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm excited because, folks, like I say, this technology that I know of on the dead man side of the fence, I got real good at it, and I can collectively teach it to the masses. Because, folks, it's just a game. They never expect you to wake up and find out how to play the game. And that's where I come in. So we're going to move this train forward, and I want everybody to get on board. So I'm going to go on and banter on for 2 seconds. If you haven't been on the cover page, and folks, I cover all sorts of nifty things, and I'm going to put so much meat and potatoes in my site that, like I say, pretty much for every issue, I'm working on mortgage stuff and some other things. And, like I say, I like to go to the deep end because this is where my mind lives, and I like to bring it forward once I know it. So this is where, like I say, those that are on the right side of the fence, they get the memo. Those that are, like I say, if we do this collective call that's coming up Saturday, and there's 20,000 people on the call and they didn't get the memo, hey, oh well. You know what? They'll have to go ahead and sign up on the call while we're on the call on Saturday. Because, folks, no time better than the present. If your computer's on and you're in the site, you can click on the privatist.me and just go sign up. It's time to sign up. Because if you wait, what are you waiting for? Folks, I'm not asking for no damn money. So you know what? If you don't want to get it, then stand back, come on the call, and you can be looking at your hands instead of looking at PDF documents on what I'm going to cover, proving irrevocably about how this tie-in started and how you can move forward to affect a change in your life. Because, folks, if you don't, like I say, this is what your children have. If you don't take a proactive stance in your own education, your own knowledge, then guess what? Your children are going to be in the effective, neutralized position that you are, and you don't have to be. That's the point. So that's why I created this portal. Like I say, I know some of you probably think I'm a blowhard and this guy's just sort of full of himself. Folks, no, I'm full of you. It's all about you. Because you know what? If we don't collectively come together very, very soon, I'm telling you, the ugly that's fixing to be dispensed upon the masses you're not going to be real happy. I can promise you that. And that's why I say I don't live there anymore. I'm not on that page. So this is how we move forward collectively together. So this is your gift from me to you. If you don't want the gift, stand back, go to another show, go to other Talky Talk where they just talk about fluff but absolutely no solutions. They're not going to talk about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. They're not going to talk about how to neutralize debt. They're just going to say, well, we don't know. I got people that pass out documents and information that's totally garbage, has no effect. Matter of fact, it makes you look like an idiot because now they really know that you're operating from a dead man's capacity or an improper capacity. So, folks, like I say, just on the debt collection side of the fence, it's really actually a pretty simple process, and it's easily teachable for those that are willing to be trained. The teacher appears when the student is ready. Well, a lot of people ain't ready to be a student yet. Folks, you're going to have to get if you come to my class on Saturday without your pens and papers and your PDF documents, attachments, because you didn't sign up to the site, well, guess what? I'm going to put you in a corner and you're going to go for a timeout because you weren't ready and you missed that class, so now you got some catch-up. It's like going to regular school, folks. If you miss the homework assignment, you got to make it up or you got to play catch-up. Well, no need to play catch-up. It's time to stay ahead of the power curve for the next 8 weeks on this collective curriculum I've put together so that you're not behind. You're going to get the posts, you're going to get the emails when you're signed up, so you're not going to miss a beat. Unless, like I say, if you get binded up, you got to work. Hey, if you got to miss it, you got to miss it. But at least you can go attach to it the following day and get what you missed so that you can stay caught up, so you're not bringing up the rear. Anyways, folks, this is exciting stuff. We are in a shift. There's a lot of things happening, changes on the horizon. And, folks, that's why I say this is a curriculum. I said, you know what, the only way I'm going to bring these points across, educational-wise, is if I follow up bouncing the ball, doing an 8-week curriculum. So this is where I'm headed. This is going to be a good thing because it's going to give you continuity of flow in your mind and teach you what you need to know, at least from a fundamental stance, to basically shake off the yoke and move forward on a different level. So I'm really excited on that level. And I know for those that are on tonight, you know what, you're going to be in the beneficial position to move forward on a different level. You know what, proof's in the pudding. So, you know, prove me wrong, because we're going to move forward on these different levels. Like I say, for those who haven't established their status, Michael created a beautiful document, a red box document, to basically terminate the status from the body politic under the 14th Amendment slave status. But until you take that one proactive act, and so we thought about this. This is when we go into creative mode. We say, okay, what are the simple things people can be doing for themselves that's not a far stretch? Folks, you don't even have to create the damn document. We already created it for you. It's a red box document. So, you know what? That's one of the benefits. Then I do my Thursday calls on a deeper level, going to informations that I can't talk about on Blog Talk because, like I say, that's why we're private. It's privatist.me. So not to piss the clowns at the circus off too much, I remove it for a membership status, and like I say, it's free to sign up. So there's absolutely no excuse. If there's 10,000 of you folks listening tonight, there's absolutely no excuse. 10,000 people aren't signed up on the site. Folks, there's no trickery here, but if you want to be able to get the memo and follow the bouncing ball for the next 8 weeks, if you don't sign up, you're going to be behind the power curve. You're not going to get the memo, and then you'll be 8 weeks older, but not necessarily 8 weeks smarter. So, folks, you know what? Hey, the 8 weeks is going to pass you by one way or the other. If you don't come to the plate, if you don't come to the buffet to come to eat, you're going to starve in the process, and you'll be 8 weeks older, like I say, and you're basically effectively going to be bringing up the rear, and you're not going to know what's going on. So you know what? So in order to reduce that, that's why I created a curriculum. And no, I'm not going to post all 8 weeks out in front of you, folks. Most of you are just living day to day just like I am. I have the 8 weeks already plotted out, but I'm not going to post the 8 weeks because, hell, we just need to get you through 1 week at a time. This is like boot camp. You know, folks, when I went to boot camp in the military for that 8 weeks, they didn't give you all 8 weeks to get you to the other end in 5 minutes. You started off, they called you a raisin. You weren't even a recruit. You weren't even qualified. You didn't know how to march. You didn't know nothing. You didn't know which end of the rifle to use. Hell. So then they take you out and they got you running and they got you doing physical exercise, but they got to condition the body slowly. So, folks, I'm going to take you down like an 8-week boot camp. So by the time you come out the other end, then you are now, you're a recruit and you're raw, but you're ready for the next level to your transition, for a transformation into moving forward for more education. So you got to get the brain thought processes on. This is a boot camp for the brain, so to speak. So, folks, if you haven't seen the medical stuff about Celtic salt and how to literally get the brain synapses firing properly, you know, I dose every day. Sodium bicarbonate to keep the body oxygen rich. These are effective modalities that big pharma, big medical will not talk about, not in a million years. But yet, ironically, my brother's sister, who was sent home to die, her tumor has been shrinking. She did go back to the oncologist, and they did an X-ray, and they looked at her, what are you doing? And she told them she was doing the vaporizer, or what? Not a vaporizer, excuse me, for those who smoke that other stuff. She was a nebulizer with the proper content of Celtic salt as well as sodium bicarbonate. And folks, when she was breathing it in, it was literally bringing up all this garbage out of her lungs, effectively neutralizing the lung cancer, because it was when she was breathing it into the effective areola sacs of the lungs, they were all getting oxygenated with this beautiful thing called sodium bicarbonate. And like I say before, don't use stinking Arm & Hammer. That's got aluminum in it. So for those that didn't get the memo, Red Mill is the only brand. You can buy it at any local health food store. Same with, that's another issue nobody talks about, is the 1 Minute Cure with food-grade hydrogen peroxide, which makes the body effectively very oxygen-rich, where the pathogens can't hang out in your body. So those are all the informations and interesting things that I will have posted on the site. Yep, those are accessible for all. Because, folks, you know what? I'm not about Big Pharma getting rich off of you, sending you to the boneyard to die. They don't. Their idea of showing you the love is chemicalizing you, slash, cut, and burn. And matter of fact, I put out an offer over the last few weeks. You know, and it's ironic that folks. You know, I got thousands of y'all listening, and see, you're not doing me a favor. You're not helping me. These $10 donations, when I say go to the site to do a donate, it ain't for me. It's for you. You know what? Because I already got my game on. I already got my learn on. I'm not going to be chemicalized. I'm not going to go to the boneyard and die over a stinking lie. But for those that don't want to get their minds right, they say, I'm not donating nothing. I'm not doing it. You know what? Like I say, you ain't screwing me. You're screwing yourself, literally. Because you know what? When the pain becomes so great and when the lie, when you are operating, like I say, from that position of weakness with no knowledge, there's a plethora of knowledge. These 2 PDFs, matter of fact, to pretty much neutralize any dadgum cancer that can come your way, but you don't wait until the cancer's on your doorstep because, see, that's operating from a position of weakness, and you're probably going to go with what the white coat says because that's all your mind knows because you didn't educate yourself. If you step forward and educate yourself and move forward, then it's a win-win proposition. That's the point. So, folks, I'm putting out the overview. You know, one person did a $10 donation last week, and they didn't even post it on the right spot. That's the sad part. And folks, you get access to the 1 Minute Cure, which talks about exactly how to dose, how it works, what it does. It's going to give you an overview on Big Pharma, FDA, information, stuff that they don't talk about in the mainstream media, so you can get your mind right. See, folks, I got nothing to gain to lie to you, but they got everything to gain to lie to you because you're just a proverbial money mark. And you're going to stay a proverbial money mark, a proverbial slave on the plantation if you don't start getting the paradigm shift, changing between the ears, because that's what's killing everybody. You know, I know more people have gone to the boneyard over cancer, the lie, and that's the insane thing when it wasn't even necessary. Anyways, folks, you know what? So I'm going to go ahead and throw out on this call. We're looking for your help. Because let me tell you something. If in the next 3 weeks we don't get the collective donations up, and folks, you know, it's $10 a clip, so 100 people, and we'd be good for the year. But you know what? If we don't get it in the next 3 weeks, Peter will go silent. He'll go bye-bye, and y'all can figure it out for yourself. That's what it's going to come down to. You're going to figure it out on a different level, but you're going to figure it out under the with no quick track, no fast track, no information that's going to free you from the chains that bind. Instead, you're going to be stuck into the system through their nefarious acts because you didn't get your game on. So if you like what we're doing, if you like what we're sharing and what we're putting out, then, you need to come on over, folks. It's a beautiful thing. And, so if you go onto the Freedom Reigns U.S. Homepage where I'm listed, actually over where it's got all the icons on the left, home, about us, down at the very bottom, folks, it's as simple as donating $10. And, yes, y'all send that over to Deatra. She forwards it to me, and then I send your attachments with all the information of what I'm talking about because I'm good. I'm a man by my word. And, folks, like I say, it's not going to benefit me. It's going to benefit you because if you don't have the knowledge, you're operating from dead man's land, and that's what they depend upon. You don't have to. Simple modalities available to the masses, and once you have the blinders off, once you know, matter of fact, like on cancer, www.cancertutor.com is an incredible site, the most educational, comprehensive, easy to understand information on modalities to pretty much neutralize pretty much any BS cancer. Like I say, folks, it all comes down to the fact that the body is acidic. Until you bring it back to its alkaline state, you've got problems. But there's easy methodologies for everybody to do this, but Big Pharma can't make no money on it. And even on my medical site, I got videos with Dr. Simon Tuminicelli, and he shows exactly how, like I say, they beat his brakes off because Big Pharma and the medical community over in Italy was so pissed off they actually filed charges against the guy, and he actually effectively neutralized every cancer through sodium bicarbonate, direct injection. He had a special saline solution, and he would attack the actual tumor, and it would be gone within 2 days. Folks, big cancer, what they want to do is chemicalize you, and that kills every good cell with every bad cell. So guess what? They just kill the freaking host. If you come around the other side, see, folks, you shouldn't be losing your hair on chemicals. That's the whole point. So if you are losing your hair, that should tell you something right off the bat that this is not working. This is not effective. And like I said, I covered specifically how the oncologist, 95% or 90%, will not treat their own families with the same modality. But until you go read this book that I got with Ty Bollinger, until you get your mind right and read the information that I've read, you're operating from a false paradigm. You're operating from a position of no knowledge. So you know what, folks? This is where you get your learn on. Once you learn it once, nobody can ever take it away from you, and it's like knowledge is power. It's sort of like me learning how to effectively beat the brakes off of third-party debt collectors. Once I learned the process, I could teach it to anybody. But you know what? If you're not ready to learn, then you're ready to suffer, and they'll be glad to deal you some more pain through the trickery, the chicanery, the falsities, and whatever, because these are just the best crooks money can buy. You're just a corporate money mark, and that's their objective, is to keep you stuck in stupid and stuck in the system. So, anyways, based on that, folks, if you haven't donated, like I say, it only takes 100 of you to keep this show up for another year. Otherwise, hell, Blog Talk Radio may go away altogether. We may all go away. You know what? This is not, like I say, where's the love, folks? Because you know what? I'm showing the love. I'm bringing it forward. I don't want your money. I want you to share the love so we can keep this thing going, so we can bring the collective spirit together. And that's why it's called In the Spirit of Things, because I want everybody to be and have the right heart. If you don't have the right heart, folks, now, when will you have the right heart when the wolf is upon your door and you're saying, oh, somebody needs to save me? You know what, folks? You got to save yourself. That's the whole point. It's called taking an action. We all have to take an action. I've taken the action, folks. I'm putting it forward. So, based on that, if those who want to donate tonight, $10 gets you the guaranteed most 2 incredible educational books for your bookshelf. By the way, I paid $100 for them, folks, so guess what? You're getting it from chump change, but you're going to get the same knowledge so you don't dumb down and lie to effectively for the rest of your life. So you'll never become a victim on that level. That's pretty damn important, folks. As a matter of fact, that's real damn important. Because they will pursue the lie for as long as they think they can sell it to you. And if you're buying, you're a schmuck. That's what they'll treat you as, a schmuck. They think you don't have a clue. They want to keep you, like I say, busy with the breads and circuses, the smoke and mirrors. And if you stay on that page, then you know what? And in essence, because we fail to take action for our own selves, then we become victims of our own world, in our own minds, in our own reality. So, folks, it's time to change the paradigm. It's time to change what's in between the ears. I'm bringing it forward. You now have the capacity to take the next step. So, please click on, folks. Don't worry about what your brother or your sister next door are donating. You just need to step up, and you know in your heart what to do is right. If you fail to do that, bare minimum, you know what? Then what comes back to you across your door will be self-delivered in a different way. So, you know what? They'll know us by our acts and deeds, folks. So if you fail to act upon yourself, basically what you're telling yourself, not me, that you're not worth it. And that's the point. So, you know what? You're all worth it. That's why I created this capacity for everybody to come and get their learn on and get their education. Otherwise, like I say, a couple more weeks, it may be invalid point. We may not even complete the curriculum, and everybody gets to suffer in silence. Well, folks, if you want to suffer in silence, it's your option. So based on that, Diatra, it was a great show. I had no callers. Nobody wants to show me the love tonight, I guess. It's all right. Anyways, folks, next Saturday is going to be huge. And if you didn't get your books to bring to class, you'll be operating without the proper tools to get your mind right. So you'll be in the deep end of the pool for next Saturday night's call. You don't want to rush through the front door. It's not like a rock concert. Everybody can go through the front door right now. Click on our team, click on Peter, and click on privatist.me and step on in and sign up. It's a click of a button. I know it's not physically arduous, so I know y'all can handle it. So we all got to collectively pull our own weight, carry our own water, and I'm going to teach you how. That's what makes you competent in your own world. Without being competent in your own world, you're considered incompetent, and they'll make sure to make you well aware of it. So, Deatra, with that, I bid a good adieu. I thank everybody for coming on the call tonight. It was a beautiful call, even though I didn't have anybody come into my door. Folks, this is for real. This is your life. Are you ready for the shift, or are you going to sit back and wait for somebody else to do it for you? And if you're going to wait for somebody else to do it for you, I tell you, you're going to be remiss and get whacked on a whole different level, which is not a good place to operate from. So, you know what? I'm sharing the love. I'm giving you the love. I love you all. It's time to move forward. Anyways, I thank you, Deatra, for taking care of producing the call tonight, folks. And I hope to see you all Saturday. If not, hey, it's all good. You have a great night. Bye-bye. So it's going to have to be in digestible chunks, like I say, how I teach. This is how I taught the Marines, and this is how I'm going to teach my brothers and sisters. So as to defer all these emails that I get all the time, I said, you know what, apparently I'm not doing something right. I'm not doing it correctly. So I'm going to bring the collective mindset, because, folks, this is where it starts. If we don't get on the same page, we're all marching to the beat of a different drummer, and we're not in lockstep. We're out of step. And in the military, that's why I'm going to call this like a mini boot camp, this 8 weeks that I'm going to be covering. And it's going to be the most educational, informative overview you're going to get on how this thing started, how we got to where we're at now, and what you can do to create a solution. And I'm going to help you create the solution if you want it. If you don't, if you want to let me do all the heavy lifting, but you don't want to get into the privatist.me free portals to get your education, because you'll be able to attach to every week's attachments, PDF documents of what I'll be covering to give direction of flow to the conversation. So instead of me talking for 2 hours and bringing forth information where you can't see it, feel it, touch it, I'm going to let you see it, feel it, touch it on the information, because I'm going to, matter of fact, I've attached the PDFs so that everybody can access them between now and Saturday, but we don't have to wait till Saturday. Otherwise, it becomes a bum rush at the door. So what I'm going to do, this is my New Year's gift to everybody, so that I can get everybody on the collective page. You're going to have to sign up on the site for free so that you can get my emails. As a matter of fact, if you're signed up on the collective as a collective part of the site in the free portals, which has incredible information, folks, really, really simple to follow. I've got all the medical stuff on there, all my beautiful information that I've already put together with MP3s and attachments. I got an incredible cancer page where, you got downloadable PDFs that you can access for free. Yeah, I know everybody likes everything for free, so I'm going to give it for free. But not everything in life is free. So it's going to take a collective mindset to come together, to get on the page, because until you get your education, nothing's free, folks. If you don't learn what I'm fixing to share over the next 8 weeks with the attachments, you're going to continue to pay in a different way. Maybe not pay Peter, but you're going to pay Paul, because they're going to rob you until your estate is pretty much dripped dry, until you understand what capacity that you're supposed to be operating in. So I'm going to create a collective, constructive flow of information so everybody can get this memo. I mean, folks, it's really simple. I mean, so if there's 10,000 people listening tonight, there should be 10,000 people signing up on the privatist.me portal. But just in case you don't know where that is, I'm putting out the cattle call, folks. I don't want your stinking money. What I want is your education. That you need to get this education, because if we don't collectively get on the same page, you're going to be operating the blind and going to listen to conspiracy theory garbage and other stuff to tickle your eardrums, to keep your mind busy, keep your souls divided, so that you can literally effectively be neutralized, and that's the objective of what they do. So I says, okay, I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to create an 8-week sort of mini boot camp for the collective mindset to all really get on the same page, because we're going to understand trust. There's people out there passing information about saying it doesn't have nothing to do with the beneficiary, and now let me tell you something, folks. They're dead wrong, and I can prove it on multiple levels, so I'm going to show it and prove it to all those that come over to this privatist.me site and sign up for free so they can get their collective minds right. Because, folks, if you're not the beneficiary, guess what you are? You're the damn trustee, and they're going to rape the estate because as a trustee, you have no beneficial interest, i.e., look at the word beneficial, and you've abandoned ship. You've give over. You registered with them because you don't know what your status is. They're going to leave you behind, and they're going to basically leave nothing but a shell, an empty vessel, until there's nothing else left. This is probably the last that I'll go down this road. I'm going to create this 8-week informational, and by the way, each week, the upside is if you miss a week, you'll be able to attach, if you're signed up on privatist.me, you'll be able to attach into the curriculum page that we have now set up from Brother Mike so that you can get the next week's attachment, and also go back if you missed the last call for the week, and you can follow along to follow the bouncing ball to cover what we covered on that call if you missed it, and it'll have the attaching attachments. So this way you're not flying while blind, and you're getting full informational overview with attachments. So I guess I'm going to break it down to the simplistic so everybody can get it. Anyways, folks, that's the only way I know how to teach, is showing. It's like show and tell. So I guess that's what it has to come down to, because they've done an effective job on neutralizing USA Inc. or Canada or any other country in a structured format so you can follow beginning to end how this thing started and how you got whacked and how you can create a solution to get out. So this is the collective mindset coming together, and this is the only site I know that's talking about anything of substance lately these days. Most of the other stuff I'm hearing is just rhetoric and more busy stuff that's not giving anybody any capacity to, how you say, have a creative solution to fix what ails them. So now that we're on the Freedom Reigns page, everybody should have had time to get over on the Freedom page, the home page, and it's got it's on blog. It starts off. Let me go backwards. If you were on the collective site, it's not going backwards for me. Let me go backwards, folks. Okay. Yep. If we're on air, and at the Freedom Reigns front room, if you came in through the front door and clicked on www.freedomreigns.us, once you click on that icon, it brings you to the front page. Because, folks, I want everybody to be able to get access to this information, because without it, you're not going to get the fundamentals. And what we're covering on this first call is the birth certificate bond, and I'm going to show you an actual birth certificate bond. It's mine, and it's got all the beautiful red digits on it. And for those out there who say it's got nothing to do with this, well, I'll prove that irrevocably wrong as well. So once you open up into you're on the Freedom Reigns page, I want everybody to click on our team and go to Peter. Folks, it's really that simple. And I'm clicking on it myself. I'm walking through. I'm actually going to give direction of flow, because most of the people spell our website wrong, or they just choose to not plug it in. I get tens of thousands of listeners, and nobody's following the bouncing ball. So right now, because this call will be moving forward on Saturday, if you didn't get in the front door right now, you're in the back of the bus, and you're not going to get the memo. So instead of waiting till the last minute, next Saturday or later, well, I'll think about it, whatever, we're going to click on it right now. So, folks, just go to the icon and click privatist.me, and it's going to bring you right up into the portal. And that's the home page. Folks, all you got to do is put in a username and a password, and you can log in. So that's a really simple thing, and that's what I'm looking to have everybody do. So I'll give you a couple minutes. Everybody can go ahead and log in. I'm going to log in. Good evening tonight, and welcome to tonight's special call. Folks, this is Peter in the spirit of things, and we'll be going in a different direction. I've come to the conclusion that my brothers and sisters need just a little bit more help to get some direction of flow mentally as well as spiritually, and so I'm going to give that direction of flow. So, folks, I've been getting I get lots of emails, and most of them are asking the same questions. So I've considered, after getting repeated hundreds of emails all across the land, I said, you know what? I got to go back to basics. I got to give a fundamental overview where everybody can really follow the bouncing ball. This is to get the collective mind on the same collective page, because this is what will happen in a positive when everybody gets on the same page. So the whole point is, I'm going to move this all in a total new direction of flow so everybody can literally follow the bouncing ball. When I created my first site, I actually gave direction of flow, had 5 simple steps that people could do to follow, basically because they didn't have any direction of flow on how to basically traverse how they've been getting whacked their entire lives and how the system was collectively set up to pretty much rape the estates of every man, woman, and child, because it all started at birth and everybody gave it over. Your mother gave it over and she didn't know. They separated her from the father. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go one step deeper, and I've created a collective portal for everybody to get the memos. And I'm going to come back to the memos, because if you can't see it, feel it, touch it, you have no fundamental understanding. So I'm going to be able to pretty much draw a bead and give collective attachments for all this information that you'll be able to access easily, quickly, and effectively. So there's no excuses. So when I come back on this call, this coming up Saturday, to go over the curriculum, it's going to be an 8-week curriculum, folks, because I can't teach it in one night because nobody will get it. So as I'm speaking, if you're all on your computers, this is a beautiful thing, because I guess most people have to come through the front door on their computer. So if you go to the Freedom Reigns homepage, folks, it's really simple, and I'll wait, and I want to talk for a minute, so I'll give everybody a minute to get over to the Freedom Reigns homepage. Folks, let me share something with you. You don't want to be rushing from the door for Saturday's call to sign up to get into the privatis.me site. So I'm going to share with you how to get there right this very minute. So everybody that will have the benefit who signs up now on this call, so that they don't have to be scrambling next Saturday because they didn't get the memo, because you will be getting the memo. The attachments are already fixing to be placed, or they're already placed in the site. So we're going to go ahead and click on together. Folks, if you look at the Freedom Reigns homepage, it's got home, about us, our team, Regal System, guest shows, local community support, information. Well, folks, it's the third icon down. So we're going to follow the bouncing ball on how you can get into the site. This is a beautiful thing. It's simple. The upside is, folks, once you're in the site, you'll get the collective memos on when the attachments are in for the following week, and you'll be able to access all the previous shows with the attachments. So this way, you're not driving while blind. That's what I use as an analogy. Because, folks, if you can't see it, feel it, touch it, you are driving while blind. Your mind's not going to grab around the concepts or the information. So since I had to teach my Marine brothers for 8 years on how to set bones, fractures, there was no better way than actually teaching with hands-on experience. We didn't break bones in order for them to set them, but we showed exactly proper application, because if Doc takes a bullet and he gets knocked out of the box, they better know how to pretty much help their own brothers, and they better have been paying attention in my class. Well, folks, this is sort of the same analogy. If you're not paying attention in class, if you didn't sign in and pick up your books, i.e. the PDF documents, by signing into class, then guess what? You're not going to get the memo. So when you come on the show Saturday, if you come on the show Saturday, because some of you may not be interested in getting your learn on, then you know what, this is not the place for you anyways. You're not ready yet. You need, I guess some need a lot more pain to really get the memo, and you know what, they're going to allow you to have all the pain you want if we can't collectively come together. I'm sharing enough love, folks, that I'm going to actually put this in a structured situation that I don't think anybody's done